So we finally come down to the big payoff. Should I say the big plan that Task Force X and the General has to capture Superman? Right? So you think, well, they put some time and energy and thought into doing this. Except that this plan has more holes in it than Swiss cheese. And let me go through this episode to tell you all the things that just didn't add up completely. So we get into episode 8 of My Adventures with Superman. This is our part 1 and part 2 episode, but this is part 1. So the episode begins with the general, with the criminals and them who stole the technology and stuff, the cells open, they come out, shock colors start to shock them down on the ground, and he's walking through there telling them that, you stole from us, you committed crimes, now you're going to work that off. And I'm like, okay, if you're stupid enough, right? If you are actually stupid enough to have your dangerous alien technology stolen from you, why are you blaming the criminals for using it? Because the whole thing is that Livewire stole this technology. How did she steal it? We don't know. Where did she steal it from? We don't know. Who was she going to sell it to? We don't know. How did she steal all that technology? Because she stole the robots, the different weaponry suit, all of that she stole. So apparently Task Force X has to be made up of the biggest set of incompetent dipshits to ever roam the entirety of this entire messed up DC world at all. But no, she stole it from them, and then she decided to give it out like Santa Claus on Christmas to any and literally everybody who wants it. So that's how they ended up there. Okay. Now, Clark suddenly develops super hearing. Right? He's suddenly able to hear people and stuff going on in the stress. So he has to zoom around the city, saving people, and he's pretty much running himself ragged. Right? He's also sleepy, also ends up sleep deprived and weakened. Now, this doesn't make any kind of sense. Right? The second part doesn't make any kind of sense. The first part was okay, but we'll deal with the second part. Superman doesn't actually get tired. Hell, he doesn't even need to eat. His body is a giant solar power battery that never runs out. The energy just constantly replenishes itself. This is why he doesn't get tired, why he doesn't necessarily need to eat. Hell, why he doesn't even sweat. Because he doesn't ever exert himself. He always, no matter what energy he uses, it always naturally replenishes immediately. So he doesn't end up running himself ragged. Now, the super hearing, I actually like that aspect. Seeing as you introduce this new power to him and he has to figure out how to use it, and he's hearing what is different, it could leave him slightly distracted. Okay, fine. But when Jimmy shows up to the apartment, because apparently he went to see his folks and he come there to see Superman, I mean, like Superman has become like a coffee addict, and he's, twitchy eye and thing, and he bags under his eyes, and he's running himself ragged and telling Jimmy that, he needs to get it done. He's like he needs another, he literally needs another caffeine fix, because he's just, constantly going all over the place to save people, all of that. But he's saving people and doing stuff, but you're going to see how that's going to turn out to be a pack of nonsense just now. Meanwhile, Lois Lane shows up at the Daily Planet, and she is still, worried and thinking about what happened. And she's walking around carrying the same orb thing that shows the different evil Supermen from these different universes. And she's wondering what's going on, what that means, whatever. But when she gets to the little, room that they're using for their stuff, there's a whole bunch of flowers in there. Clark left all of those for her, and he sends her a message, happy 1 week anniversary, and she smiles. Then she automatically goes back to the worrying about whether he's going to be evil or not. Anyway, Perry shows up and tells her that, he needs her to shadow some visiting reporter, and the visiting reporter turns out to be Vicky Vale. And Lois is literally starstruck because Vicky Vale is her hero. She has her poster up on the wall and all of this stuff. Now, let's take this one to say something. In the realm of DC Comics, or in the realm of DC on the whole, Lois Lane is a much bigger deal than Vicky Vale. If you were to say, you know, who is probably the best female investigative journalist in all at DC, Lois Lane automatically comes to mind. Most people don't even know who Vicky Vale is. Honestly, most people don't even know who she is. But the fact that they introduce Vicky Vale here means that, you know, they're obviously introducing Gotham City, so it's going to be, so we may very well end up seeing some version of Batman. So tell me in the comments, what you think we're going to get? Are we going to get a gender-swapped Batman, a race-swapped Batman, a transgender Batman, or an emotionally broken Batman? But something or another, we could get some kind of Batman down the road. We know that. So Vicky Vale is there, and she wants to write a story on what it is Superman is hiding, because she has this biased view that Superman is a menace. You understand? She wants to find out what it is going on with Superman, and, you know, talking about how he has something to hide and she needs to figure it out. And the funny thing is now Lois and Jimmy are assigned to help her. But the weird thing about it is that this was literally Lois 3 weeks ago, just amped up by 5%. That's all Vicky Vale is. Because keep in mind, as a few weeks ago, Lois thought the same thing, that Superman has things to hide and she wants to get to the truth and he has to be hiding something at all. And all kind of lad in that. You understand me? But this is exactly what Vicky Vale is doing. That's what she wants to uncover. Right? So she goes around with Jimmy and Lois interviewing different people. Well, they keep steering her towards people who they want to speak to, who will give positive information in regards to Superman. Meanwhile, now Superman, using his super hearing, wants to find out what the general is up to. And then he starts to hear that the general apparently has some kind of looking for somebody. Reports come across the news and stuff now that some invisible man is breaking in to the different businesses and causing havoc and things across the city. Superman goes to investigate and discovers it's Mist. And Mist was one of the ones from this shitty version of Intergang, along with Silver Banshee and this guy who had the suit that was giving him strength and thing. Yeah. He's running around the city. Now, automatically that should be a red light for you, because if the general is looking for this guy, common sense would dictate that, you know, he would lay low. But he's intentionally doing things to draw you in. He's breaking into places, he's causing havoc, all of these things to get your attention. But when he sees Superman, he takes off running. Right? Now, Superman is still sleep deprived, all kind of stuff, but he's still trying to do what he could do. He hears this little girl going around the city looking for her. Well, she was walking around looking for her mom because apparently she lost her. So Superman came there, told her that he'd help her. He listened, found her mom, flew her over there, and of course, you know, she has two moms because that's what we're doing, though, right? So he saves, so he reunites this family. Okay, he then sees Mist running and takes off after him. And as Mist is about to get hit by this truck, because he still has this gear, so he's only so he's invisible, but Superman could see him. As he's about to get hit by this truck, Superman pushes him out of the way, and the truck runs into Superman. Automatically, the entire city turns against him. What the hell are you doing? Oh, look what you did to the truck. Superman has just lost it and all of this. Even the little girl who, like 2 minutes ago, he just reunited with her family. She sees him and starts to cry and just hug up Shimomi and look at it. And I'm like, are you people freaking serious? This is what you're trying to pull now? because one truck runs into him, the entire city turns against him. Meanwhile, Vicky Vale goes with Jimmy and Lois to interview Ivo's former assistant, Alexander. People say it's Lex Luthor. I hope it's not, but you know, you could never tell it anymore. So when they go there now, he's telling them that Superman is a menace. Look at all the damage that he did to this place. He destroyed Ivo Tech and people lost work and all that thing. And he's talking about how, you know, Superman could do anything he wants. Nobody could stop him. Look what he did here. And Lois is there like, no, he didn't mean to, but, no. And I'm like, woman, you were there. You understand me? You were there. You saw for yourself that all this damage was done by Ivo. Superman actually stopped him. That's it. But Alexander is talking about, if Superman just decides to have a bad day, nobody could stop him. You know, he could do whatever he wants. He's a dangerous menace. And Lois is standing there all, I don't know what to say. And you know, the hypocrisy of it is what's getting me here. Because, yes, you got this orb that literally shows that, that there's some evil versions of Superman in the multiverse. Okay. We encountered a butch, we encountered a group of butch, possibly gay, Superman-hating Loises who attacked Superman without any provocation or warning. They just came off their ship and shot him with kryptonite. That was it. You understand me? And Superman is now there thinking, maybe Lois is evil. Maybe she's going to turn against me, because he literally got attacked by evil versions of you. And yes, I'm calling them evil versions of her. Right? He literally got attacked by it. But no, all of a sudden, because you saw some tape showing that, there's some evil versions of him out there, you suddenly can't completely trust this Clark or this Superman. The ridiculousness of it. All this man has been doing all this time is trying to help me, a bunch of ungrateful ingrates, but no, they have a problem. But I'm telling you, he stops a truck, and they all just automatically turn against him. So when you're saying, Lois and Jimmy go back to the Daily Planet, they find out that Vicky Vale wrote this hit piece, and she used them to become editor of the Gotham Gazette. So they reach out to Superman. Superman shows up, and then they tell him that, he's all still sleep deprived and literally almost falling over, which makes no sense whatsoever. I tell him that, so they tell him people are turning against him. Look what they're saying in the comments. And you're seeing comments on Jimmy's Flamebird thing with Superman has lost it. Superman is dangerous. He should go back to where he came from. Yeah, maybe he should pack up and leave. And the next time that a building catches on fire and you're shouting, Superman, help me, and he doesn't show up, you go say you like it then. Anyway, so he tells them that he needs to find Miss and stop the general. And Lois is all, maybe you don't have to. Maybe you could take a break from me and Superman and just be normal. And he's like, normal, and flies off. But then, come on. All of a sudden, because it is, you see this thing, he just needs to be normal. He's Superman, that's normal for him. Get over your freaking self. So he finally tracks down Mist. And Mist tells him that, when Task Force X captured his friends, he managed to get away. That already sounds suspicious. And, they're going to be transporting them to some unknown secret base, and he wants to help them. If he wants to help them, why are you running around the city committing crimes to intentionally get Superman's attention? But of course, Superman doesn't ask these questions at all. He just automatically goes to the place where the transport plane is taking off, flies out there, rips open the door, only to get attacked by the very same criminals that he came to help, right? And apparently, they they are attacking him, and Ivo has an upgraded parasites armor attacking him. Now, here's why this plan starts to make this plan made no sense from the beginning, but I'm gonna break it down as to why. First off, why do they still have the technology? You see, this is the problem when you decide to change this into a technology-based thing instead of them actually having superpowers. Why would Task Force X allow them to keep this technology? It was never intended for them in the first place. Understand me? So why would you allow them to keep it? It's not like they know what the hell they're doing. They used it one time and didn't know how to properly control it. That was it. Would it not make sense to then give it to some soldiers who are already trained and loyal to you to use in an attack against Superman? Because you're using criminals and you have shock collars on them. The minute those shock collars come off, they clearly go and turn against you. They have no reason whatsoever to support you in anything. This is why Task Force X, the original Task Force X, used criminals who had abilities. Anytime anything went wrong, they could just cut them loose. If they were captured or killed, they disavowed them completely and they could wash their hands of it. They have nothing for it. But no, you're using these criminals and letting them keep their stolen technology to attack Superman with it. Why? Because you just figure that would just be okay. So they start attacking Superman, and he literally tries to run away. Well, fly away. But no, they start zooming around, attacking him, and for like a good 5 minutes, they're just kicking his ass. Meanwhile, people are recording this. People are actually recording these criminals attacking Superman. So Lois and Jimmy know exactly what's going on, so they go looking to find it. Right. Superman is still getting the crap beaten out of him, and then he goes all electric blue and pushes them back, and then suddenly starts to actually fight back. Right? He fights back against them, knocks them down, okay. And then when that happens now, Parasite latches onto him and starts to suck the energy out of him. And he's going completely mad and laughing, enjoying himself, all kind of thing. The general shows up and tells him to stop because he wants Superman alive. Ivo won't listen, so the general activates his shock collar. They capture Superman and they go. Right? Then you get to see that Mist has a shock collar on too, and he kind of regrets helping them, but they end up taking Superman out. I think the entire plan makes no sense, because what would have actually made much more sense was if Task Force X had slowly worked up a plan to discredit the entire city, like against Superman. You know, those certain things that make it seem like, you know, Superman is dangerous, right? To try and turn public perception against them. Then secondly, you could have trapped him in an area that you could have controlled. Use some of the red solar radiation thing to weaken him, and then attacked him with people you could trust. But no, you put criminals to do the very same thing that they couldn't do before. Why? You could have had other people you could have used, but no, you did that. And the entire plan didn't make any kind of sense, because if Superman had just actually, you know, used like he was supposed to, they could have easily beaten them. The only people in that entire group, because there's Livewire, there's Silver Banshee, there is Roughhouse, there's Ivo, and there is Slade Wilson. The only two people in that group that actually could have posed any kind of threat was Slade Wilson, since you know he's actually trained and knows what he's doing. Had you had more of those people, you would have been able to pull this off. And Parasite, who could suck up his energy. The rest of them have no clue what this shit they're doing. But this was your brilliant plan to capture it. Yes, it worked because it literally kind of had to. But realistically speaking, it was a stupid plan. An absolutely ridiculous plan. What? They pulled it off. And I will say again, the reason I really kind of enjoyed about this episode was the super hearing. I think had they used that as an angle. I said that, he was getting distracted because he was having trouble, focusing when he superhero. It could have worked then. But for the rest of this, nah. It didn't pan out, it didn't play out, it didn't seem right. And we already see that, what was going to happen next time. But this episode would have been a good chance to finally answer the question, is the General Lois's father or not? But no, once again, that's wasting yet another opportunity to set up for next time when Jimmy and Lois have to come along and save Superman's life. Once again, I will give this episode a 1.2 out of 5. Just because of the superhero kind of thing that I thought was kind of interesting. But the rest of it, ridiculous. City turning against him just like that, ridiculous. Plan, ridiculous. Superman being a bonehead, same as usual, but also ridiculous. Your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell and find out when I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.